talking to the folks over at Antoine's a couple of days ago. For the first time since they reopened, they are going to be open 7 nights a week. Well, that's really good news, especially for that restaurant, which has had a lot of bouncing back to do.
Antoine's has been serving classic French Creole cuisine continuously since 1840. It's in the French Quarter, and it's likely the first place every other food and travel host would take you to when doing a New Orleans show. A legend, an institution, immortal. So, where is everybody? In the kitchen, a huge staff is at work. At the ovens, at the dessert station, dishwashers, waiters, cooks, and the chef, all busily trying to crank the machine up again. Outside the kitchen, seemingly endless private dining rooms, many of them named for Mardi Gras crews, the secret societies responsible for parades. Now, they're empty. A century of Mardi Gras royalty stare quietly at you from the walls, fading ghosts of a restaurant's past.
The weight of all of that tradition, it's for real, you know, it's not like those Irish pubs where they buy it all out of a warehouse. This is like people's real granddads and great-granddads are up on the wall.
They almost lost some of it. There appears to have been some pocket of low pressure or something that almost caused the building to collapse.
Along with it would have gone dishes from another era, like oysters fauche.
This is oysters deep fried in, what is the sauce?
The sauce, it starts off with hollandaise, believe it or not, and there's a bit of sherry in it. There's a piece of toast that has some pâté de foie gras spread on it.
That sounds good.
It's supposed to recapitulate the mud that the soldiers under Marshal Foch had to slog through. Right. And the sauce, blood of those soldiers.
Damn.
The kinds of things we used to name dishes after.
Well, that's good. Sizzling clarified butter. On about, what, half a pound of jumbo lump crab meat?
About like that, local.
And a piece of pompano.
Right off a flat top grill.
With a cheesecloth lemon wedge and a piece of curly parsley. This is so old. This goes right back to my beginnings, man. You gotta love this. You know, I may be a miserable, cranky bastard, but I am also a sentimental fool. This is awesome.
In the wings, our waiter waits to attend our every need. This is no part-time actor wannabe. He's a professional.
This is some old-style service going on here. You got third-generation waiters here, right?
At least that. Because they had all of this ingrown sort of families of waiters and cooks, and so many of them lived in the most devastated areas of the city, they had to put up some of their critical staff on a ship out in the middle of the river, and it wasn't a cruise ship either.
The significant part of the story for me is they're not bugging out to go get a job at a Denny's. They're hanging on to come back here. Where were you living when the hurricane hit?
Well, I was living in St. Bernard Parish.
And
so he lost everything.
You lost everything. How long have you been with the company?
23 years.
23 years.
My brother Sterling's been here 43 years.
43 years?
Yeah. I started here in high school, and I've been here ever since. It's in my blood. I mean, it's a dying art, to tell you the truth. But
I'm worried. I see this much real estate, this level of veteran service.
It is not going to be easy for this restaurant to survive. It's a problem, really.
If you ask, most restaurant people will tell you that business is off 40% since the hurricane. In some cases, I think that number is, if anything, optimistic. But for now, the staff is in, ready to take your order.
Well, it's been another delicious week in Old New Orleans. I hope you have some good New Orleans food this week. We'll talk to you again.
Welcome to one of the first 12 restaurants to open after Katrina. A teaching restaurant. Though this is a lesson straight out of elementary cooking at any trade school, things are a little different at Café Reconcile. Where are they?
You know, I grew up in the city of New Orleans. I come from a troubled family too. You know, so I understand where the kids is, you know. You gotta stop them from going the outcome. That's the jailhouse, you know.
I love it. I'm just blessed to be here. I'm trying to change my way of living. Instead of being out there selling drugs, I'm trying to do it a positive way.
Yeah.
The restaurant business has always been a welcoming port in a storm, a new home for those who find themselves on the margins, whether by choice or circumstance.
Lily, remember, you want to keep this moving. You want to keep this moving because you don't want it to stick.
It's a second chance, a place where, if the basic rules are followed, anyone can remake themselves. And that is what happens here.
Keeping that moving? Yeah. Small circles, small circles.
Craig has a core staff of 5 cooks. Every 6 weeks, a new rotation of 10 students comes in, many from difficult situations.
Just waiting on the roast?
And their teaching begins all over again.
These kids rotate from the kitchen to the back of the house to the floor. And so they get every experience in the restaurant.
Who's the biggest hard ass? There's one in every kitchen. Come on.
He's the slammer. He likes to slam stuff, huh, Andrew?
As in all kitchens, ball busting is an essential skill among the staff, but they take it a little easier on the students.
Here, things are very, very personal, especially working with kids. You have to take a step back and kind of catch yourself and be able to explain something, even when everything around you is kind of falling apart.
Fire in the hole.
Never water.
Never water. Okay, you see that?
You got this?
I got it.
This would be tough for me. I do tend to get abusive. Some might not my sense of humor instructive. Let's put it that way. This the shrimp and white bean?
Yes. One of our well sought after Thursday specials. Use that good heavy cream and make anything good.
Oh, wonderful. Drop that right there. Thank you, sir.
Collard greens, cornbread, chicken. To the customers, it's a restaurant serving down-home Southern classics at a good price. But to the students here, this cafe is much more. Something I can personally relate to.
I'll tell you from my own life, I was a very messed up, angry kid. I had no respect for myself, and I certainly had no respect for anybody else.
Coming from 10 kids, I was a boxer and, 100 fights. A lot of rebellion, and work gave me that affirmation that I was searching for.
Without question, restaurant business saved my life many times. I guess like building a house. At the end of the day, you can point to something and say, hey, I did that.
The first day, we put him in a uniform, he has success, whether it's washing a window or working next to one of the guys and making a dish.
Right.
And in a week, that kid is cooking that dish from scratch.
Craig informs me that to date, over 400 kids have come through this place, having learned how to do something important. Presumably, as you watch this, another new class is in session.
You realize, this is a mentoring business. That's not just 400 kids you're talking about, because that's 400 kids who are all potential mentors themselves. So the ripple effect of something like this is probably beyond imagining.
All the blood, sweat, and tears, it makes it worthwhile.
So how does it feel? Change the world.
Pretty good. Really good.